Well, the Reserve Bank held cash rates steady at 4.1% today, but how long will it be until the rates start moving again? Joining me now is our business editor and host of Business Now. Right before this show, of course, Ross Greenwood. Ross, great to have you. It would be a welcome piece of news, of course, for mortgage holders today and certainly people with business loans as well. But the discussion now is about when rates are going to go up again, certainly not when they're going to go down again. What are things looking like from here?
Well, it's interesting. If you'd gone back 12 months as interest rates were rising very rapidly at that time, most economists would have been saying to you that between now and Christmas, interest rates would have started to come down. And the reason for that is that the Australian economy would have slowed. But Australia's economy, because the employment side of our economy is so strong right now and continues to be so strong, it means that really the inflation has not disappeared quickly. And so as a result of that, the economy is in much better shape than what many people would have anticipated. This is good news, by the way. It's not bad news. This is good news. But it does mean that the Reserve Bank is going to perhaps have to raise rates again, especially as oil prices have risen in recent times. Bond markets have seen bond prices rise also. And so even though interest rates today are on hold, you can right now see really there's speculation as to whether there is at least one more rate rise this side of Christmas. Phil O'Donoghue, who I spoke to today at Deutsche Bank, said he thinks there's even two. That's at the extreme measure. But certainly any suggestion of rate cuts this year is not on the cards. Most people suggest it's probably mid to late next year when rate cuts finally arrive.
So if we get a couple more rate rises this year, would we expect any more early next year before we sort of hit that cliff and start going down again? Or should we expect, from, say, December onwards, a steady 6 months?
No, I'd suggest it's a steady 6 months. And the reason for that is that the next rate rise is likely to be the last. It really would be, if you like, trying to put one final nail into inflation to really kill it off stone dead. But that also, remember, slows the economy, probably sees more people out of work in Australia. Let's go also to the first meeting of the governor of the Reserve Bank, the new governor, Michelle Bullock. Of course, she's come as the deputy governor previously. And one of the things a lot of people were looking for today was changes in the language from the previous governor, Philip Lowe, to Michelle Bullock to see just how there were changes. Now, I've got to say, there wasn't much in the way of change in the statement, but there was a little bit of subtle change. This is one of them. And so the red is what was there previously in the black, and the stuff that's not drawn out is basically the way in which it says now. So they say inflation in Australia has passed its peak, but it's still too high and will remain so for some time yet. Timely indicators on inflation suggest goods price inflation has eased further, but the price of many services continue to rise briskly. Now, there's your problem. Two issues. One, services in our economy. It's harder to get rid of that inflation in our economy. And the second is the unknown. Wage claims that are still to come in our economy, the impact they have on inflation, and also the price of other goods as businesses have to respond to those higher wages.
Well, you mentioned the employment market before, and of course one of the contributors to the growing economy, right, is the increase in migration. And you've had now city analysts saying that the federal and Victorian government's ambitious housing projects could actually worsen labour shortages and cause additional wage inflation and increase property demand as well, which all contributes to the worsening cost of living. It contributes to the lack of housing affordability, which ultimately contributes to the stuff that means our interest rates have to go up.
Yeah, look, it's so true. And if you think about this logically, what it all leads to the suggestion of is that these high interest rates that we have got now, that a lot of people are really sort of, if you like, having to make choices under the weight of these rate rises. They're having to stay employed. There's got to be two incomes coming to many families. But the reality is that you're not going to see rapid falls in interest rates. And the reason is because this inflation will persist for some time. And so for people who are hoping that interest rates are going back to, mortgage rates are back to 2%, they're dreaming. It's not going to happen anytime soon. And really, in many ways, you can even see that with the forecasts of the big four bank economists right now. So they're effectively saying, most of them are saying, really, there are no more sort of rate cuts coming in the next little while. Only one of them, the National National Australia Bank is right now indicating that there's going to be one more rate rise coming. But, there's no aggressive suggestion now because ultimately, if you're to see big falls in interest rates, you're going to see Australia's economy falling right off a cliff. Nobody wants that because that would then lead to much higher unemployment than anybody would want.
Indeed. Ross Greenwood, thank you for your time.